What is good, everybody? Your friendly neighborhood gamer Zago Comic, aka the Ghost Dogs, back with you again for another South Park related video. So, we've been getting a bunch of updates to the game, so we're gonna cover some of that. Last update that fixed stuff slash broke stuff, and the newest update that came out in regards to new card that we're getting this weekend for this weekend's event. So let's check out what Buck has to say. So hey everyone, Buck from Red Links here. We have had a busy week here at Red Links. We started off by releasing an update which had some bug fixes and technical improvements. As some of you may have noticed, it had some unintended card configurations that leaked into our test servers for a short period of time. This is referring to the big hype slash craziness that was going on in regards to the nerfs that happened with Paladin Butters, Princess Kenny, and Stan the Great. Stan the Great attack debuff was reduced by basically a half. Paladin Butters got his entry cost raised by 1 to 3. Princess Kenny had her death wish reduced as well, if memory serves. And a lot of people were kind of running around like chickens with their head cut off because of these supposed nerfs. And Red Links had to explain that these weren't like set in stone, they're just settings, I guess, that they were playing around with on their test servers that somehow managed to leak over into the update. So it wasn't something that was definitely set in stone to be pushed for the next balance update or whatever. But that being said, Red Links already addressed that, so moving on. There are a few cards that they're considering for next week's balance, next season's balance changes that mistakenly made it into the live. We want to be clear and say that those changes are not final and are only a snippet of some things that are currently being tested, yada yada yada. And they also had an unintended effect or a bug where card levels no longer displayed. A lot of people are complaining about this, primarily because if you need to say, for instance, lightning bolt something, it would be nice to know what level it is so you know whether or not you're actually able to lightning bolt it. But because of how this bug came around, you couldn't actually click on cards to see what their stats were until they actually, I guess, got damaged or something of the sort. So yeah, and their health bar wasn't showing correctly and some other stuff. So you know, it's technology. These things happen. When you try to fix one thing, you might end up breaking another thing. So don't crucify Red Links, guys. They're trying. And we also had a sci-fi themed 24-hour event. Since we hated it, hate sci-fi, so it's as a pain in the ass for me to the sci-fi events. Moving on to the more juicier stuff. This week, Children of the Blood. This week we'll be having a team event that will be a token collection event. Players will be able to collect blood crystals by opening up lockers after winning PvP matches and opening PvP packs. This event will be fantasy themed and will be featuring a brand new fantasy card, Blood Elf Baby. Blood Elf Baby has a pretty cool ability. When she defeats an enemy unit, she heals herself and adds to her maximum HP. So there you can see Blood Elf Baby on the screen right there. 90 attack, well 90 health, 35 attack. So that's his baseline stats for level 1. All players who complete this week's solo event are guaranteed at least 8 copies, minimum at least 8 copies of Blood Elf Baby, and may receive more. So they made sure to bold this. So all you people that complain all the time that Red Links isn't listening and they don't give fair rewards for events so that people don't feel gypped, there you go, right there. They listened, they made amends, and this is what they're doing now. So you can't really complain. Although I know people will probably find something to complain about anyways. But like I said, Red Links is trying. There are additional chances throughout the team component of the event as well. So not only do you get that from the solo side, but you can also get them from the team side. So everybody should be just rolling in the Blood Elf Babies after this week's event. As you collect tokens, you'll be able to unlock various card event, the rewards, blah 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 blah. So these are the rewards and the points needed. So 1,250 to complete all the solo rewards and 30,000 to get the team rewards. Okay. And you have another picture of Blood Elf Baby right there. Well, the full picture. This is actually the card art, but for some, like, they cut off half of the pasta right there. So there will be no dev stream this week. Friday is a Finnish holiday, so the office will be closed. So no free stuff this week, guys. Sorry to say, but they will be back next week, and they're going forward with the new stream time that they had been trying out, and they'll keep listening to feedback, which is why I keep telling people, as much shit as people give Red Links, they are trying, they are paying attention, and they are listening. So I mean, at the end of the day, work with them, guys. Work with them. All right, future balance changes. So here's the news that everyone wants to hear. As mentioned above, when we released our most recent update, a small portion of some of the upcoming balance changes, which are still being tested, were accidentally added into the live game. When we make balance changes, there are multiple rounds of testing. We test via both play testing and testing for balance, alongside quality assurance and bug hunting. So they're only play testing the cards, so they made I guess varying changes to the cards itself to see how they feel actually being played. The changes that were added, and this is in bold, are not finalized and also only contain a small view of what is being play tested. Some of them didn't even contain all the changes for the given units in question. We cannot yet tell you exactly which cards will be balanced, as those are all still being play tested, sad but true, and no final decision has been made. What I can tell you is that we're currently looking at playtesting roughly 20 cards from both sci-fi and fantasy themes. So ideally, one would potentially maybe think they're looking at 10 cards from fantasy, 10 cards from sci-fi, or 5 cards from fantasy and 15 cards from sci-fi. I'm just playing around. But yeah, the important thing is Red Links listened. They're making a more of a conscious effort to balance stuff in the game on a larger scale instead of just one theme per season, like everyone was complaining about when they did with Mystic. So now there shouldn't be too much power creep because they're doing 2 themes now. So a lot of the cards in the game overall should be balanced with the upcoming balance changes. But I reiterate, cut Red Links some slack, guys. They're trying. It's important to know it's very likely we won't be making changes to all 20 cards at one time, but this is part of our testing process. Alright, fair enough. There'll be some cards that will be slightly brought down, some cards that will be improved. There will be more detailed information on the exact balance changes closer to the season reset, once we have finalized what is to come. We hope you understand and appreciate your patience. Yeah. Hot fix incoming. We also noticed a few bugs popped up from the last update, so they're planning a hot fix. So, new icon, enemy unit levels not appeared after spawn, and in certain situations, users can become stuck during the tutorial. Alright, so I only know of or have experienced one of these, which is the enemy units thing, so I guess we'll see. On June 27th, we will be having a short server maintenance. This will start at 8:30 AM UTC and expected to last around 45 minutes. Alright. That's all we have for you this week. Good luck with the remainder of Legendary season. Until next time, we'll see you on the streets of South Park. Bam. Alright, so that is more or less the latest update that we were talking about. So the last but the highlight of this all is the new card, Blood Elf Baby, right there. Bam. And looking at it in comparison to the more recently released Robo Baby, I feel like Blood Elf Baby will be a solid addition to Fantasy, but her usability is going to come down to what her attack speed is like. Because her ability itself, I mean, it's cool and all, but it's not like the greatest unless you have like some stuff to synergize with it. Because, alright, so whenever she kills an enemy, her max HP increases. And she heals herself by 35. I'm not sure if her max HP increases by 35 and she heals herself by 35. But based on how they worded it here, I think that's what happens. So at at level 1, she gets 35 HP on top of the 90, right? So that's like 125. And she heals herself by 35. You see now, if this said she heals herself back to full with each kill, then that'd be broken as all hell and she'd be a really friggin' good card. Like, I think everyone would just auto-include her in the deck, because the chance of you getting off that heal to get back to full and bonus HP would be legitness. Like, that would be legit as all hell. But the thing that Medusa Baby suffers from is a slow attack speed. So if she ends up having the same issue where she has a slow attack speed, I think probably people might not be so eager to run her. But I mean, we'll see. She'll be paired more than likely with stuff like Robin Tweak. So this would be a good addition for a Robin Tweak Canadian Ike deck, because it gives you another target to get the health buff off on. So that's always a plus. Baseline stats between Robo Baby and Blood Elf Baby, she has more attack. So I guess you could say she's technically the better of the two. We're not sure how scaling works for the card as yet, but time will tell. The other thing, I think that basically covers everything. We have one more thing I want to talk about, and that was the update that was before this, which has to do with card cycling. A lot of people are complaining, and a lot of people were dreading it being introduced into the game, and I can more or less understand why. But at the same time, I mean, the game has to grow. It can't just stay stagnant, right? So we're gonna play a couple of friendly matches just to showcase and talk about that for a bit. So give me a second, let me set that up. Alright, so let's see if we can get a friendly fight going here. Gonna try and showcase two approaches to this whole friendly fight thing. So essentially how the card cycling system works now is that whenever you put out a card, it gets put to the bottom of the card pile, I guess you could say. So now it's less RNG related. So, you know, if you played something out first, chances of you being able to get it back right away in your hand to use again are pretty slim. So you kind of have to play somewhat more strategically from a certain mindset so that you can have access to certain cards when you need them. So, and they also put this new nice outfit emote in the game. Alright, so if we play Hook and Clyde here now, right? This means we won't have him to use right away again. Boom. No more cute and deadly for you. Alright, so if we're right about this, Hook and Clyde dies first and goes to the bottom of the pile. Or Kenny.
Program initiated.
I do believe it's actually linked to... Oh, that's not ideal. Alright, so we shouldn't be seeing Hook and Clyde anytime soon, no matter how much we cycle right now. So we're gonna see which card comes up first. If it's Hook and Clyde, Pirate Ship Timmy, or crap, I can't remember what was the other thing we threw out. Princess Kenny. Princess Kenny, Hook and Clyde, or Pirate Ship Timmy. So we're just gonna cycle through a bunch of our stuff right now. And get Princess Kenny, boom. So there we go. After we threw out like four different cards, Princess Kenny actually came out first. Princess Kenny came out first. So you kind of have a generalized idea of how this all works. And there's Pirate Ship Timmy. Alright, so that's how the new card cycling system works now. So if you're like counting cards to think or plan ahead, strategize when it is you want certain stuff, this kind of adds another layer of depth to the game, you could say. I don't want to have to deal with this. Can it kill him? Nice, we can kill him.
Go, go, go.
And here's Hook and Clyde. We're gonna try to snap the Ike again.
Take flight.
Completely missed. Alright, so Arrow Storm. Arrow Storm is the new one again. Nice. Alright. And we just drop Timmy up here to take care of the Kyle. So as you can see, with a deck like this that's low costed somewhat, right? It's less of a hassle to think about what you want to necessarily play around, because at the end of the day, you have a deck with a bunch of low costed minions. You don't have to worry about how long it takes to cycle back into something, because you know you're just gonna get it back right away anyways, because you cycle through the card the cards that you've played. First off, you cycle through your hand quicker, so you get a quicker chance of getting back whatever cards you played out first. So I feel like even though we've already been experiencing a meta where everyone just kind of tries to go for the lowest deck cost, this new card cycling mechanic kind of plays into that even more. So if you were hoping that like maybe the meta was going to change, or we'd see something new because of the recent upsurgence of Mystic decks because of the buffs, or this new idea of running a 2-tank meta, I'm not sure how far we'll get with that, but the potential is there. The card cycling mechanic is like kind of like a double-edged sword, because on the one hand you kind of feel like it's pushing everyone towards this kind of a meta where you're going for the lowest possible energy cost. Whereas if you are trying for something like a deck like this, that you have high costed minions that you want to play and have fun with, it's kind of rough, because if you play a high costed minion out early and your card cycle, your card count cost is so high that you can't cycle through your hand quickly enough, then you kind of put yourself in a situation where you're kind of just stuck with either dead hands, or if you're running certain key cards that you can't cycle to get back quickly enough, which is a big problem for, say, for instance, with Mystic decks that want to start with Zen Cartman, but then if you start with Zen Cartman, if you don't cycle through your hand quick enough, you can't get him back to potentially defend against a push or something. You kind of put yourself in a really bad situation. So we just saw how the low costed deck more or less ran effortlessly. But now with this high costed deck, we still have some low costed stuff to help kind of things out. Alright. I don't necessarily want to throw a Minder right now.
Everyone gather round.
Alright, we're just gonna let these guys do their work on the Cartman. And then we just drop the Manberry Pig around here.
A god praises you, human. Onward! Uh-oh.
Alright, here we go. And then we just drop that at the same time. Oh wow. And then, so now we just basically sitting on energy waiting for either Mimsy or Manberry Pig to die. And we'll cast the Hallelujah so we'll get back some life here, because we're almost on 10 energy. So card cycling here. Alright, so Mimsy died. And then we got to resurrect him. And we just throw out a bunch of additional stuff here. And hope that Mimsy makes it in time. But now where we potentially want the, what was I gonna say? We potentially want the Hallelujah here, so we could have healed up the Mimsy. We don't have that option.
I control the sea.
Alright, push. And we win. See, we're just getting back Hallelujah now, after that entire card cycle. Good game. So this is what I mean. So like in that situation where we had a good push going and we wanted to sustain the push by having the Hallelujah to play to heal them back up, we would not have that option, because most of our cards are high costed. So for us to cycle through our current card pool in our hand and then to get the card that we need that we would have played earlier, it's kind of a toss-up. Like, it worked out okay in this instance because this is like friendly fights, like all the card levels are lower and all of that. So but on the normal circumstances, like, you kind of just shit out of luck. But it'll be interesting to see how the meta develops over time with this new card cycle system. Some people love it, some people hate it, but it's something that we're all going to have to learn to live with and make the best of. So I guess that's just basically what we're gonna do. Shoutouts to my boy Irresponsible Cactus for running these matches with me so I could get the footage done. Big ups to Hella Team Style as always. This is gonna be me signing off for now. Wishing you all the best of luck with the upcoming event. Hoping you all get all the Blood Elf babies to your heart's desires. And as always, until next time, keep on gaming. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like all our videos. Do go check us out on Facebook. You can search us under the name Zalgo Cometh. Follow us on Twitter at Mr_Gamehead. And as always, keep on gaming. Visit our game review blog at www.zalgocometh.blogspot.com. See you guys later.